Good morning, world. Welcome to beautiful Farmington, New Mexico and Fellowship of Spirit. And we're glad that you made it today. Our lovely Ron is here, and it's always good to see him when he feels like getting out. We have a guest, Robert from Arizona, and we have Carl from here in Farmington, who is Susan's son. And so it's nice to have him aboard. And anybody who happens to be with him, I don't know if he's by himself or not, but anyway, welcome, Carl. It's good to see you with us.
Thank you.
I would like to read our mission statement and our vision. Our mission is to positively affect our world by extending peace, love, spirituality, understanding, and friendship to all people with grace and gratitude. Our vision is to be a spiritual center of awakening the I Am Christ consciousness, and membership is open to anyone. We have a prelude by Shay Johnson, played by Shay Johnson. It's number 176 in our brown book.
Yeah, short and sweet, so we'll sing it twice.
Okay.
God is good, the flowers are saying, God is great, the hills declare. God is love, the sky is telling, God is round us everywhere. God is good, the sky is saying, God is great, the hills declare. God is love, the flowers are telling, God is round us everywhere.
Oh, I thought we were doing it twice.
We did.
Oh. Okay. Yeah, it was short and sweet. I was ready to go again. Okay. Thank you, Shay. Great way to start the day. God is great. Susan Barnes from Belize, Central America, will be giving us our opening prayer.
Okay, so we're all ready for this. It's a beautiful day here, and I hope it's a beautiful place for you in Arizona and you, Carl, in North Carolina. So I'd like to invite you to close your eyes, take a deep breath, and allow that God energy to flow down through that crown chakra, down through your whole being, filling you with light and with love. Mother, Father, God, creator of all, we give thanks this day for all the joy that you have brought to us, for our good health, for all the abundance in every way, the abundance of family, of friends, the abundance of all the foods, the fine foods that we have to eat, of our good health. There's so much to be thankful for. And we would let this thankfulness fill every cell of our being. And in doing so, we now become the light. And we help others through our love, through our kindness, through our compassion. We ask that those who have a more limited understanding of God's love open their hearts to find this love, to be filled with their wholeness, with their health, their well-being, and to know that they are part of something so much greater, so much more wonderful. We give thanks for this day and all the goodness that it brings. Namaste.
Namaste. Thank you, Susan. Beautiful words. We have a song number 42 in the book by Shay. This is My Father's World.
This is my Father's world, and to my listening ears, all nature sings and round me rings the music of the spheres. This is my Father's world. I rest me in the thought of rocks and trees, of skies and seas, his hand the wonders wrought. This is my Father's world. The birds their carols raise, the morning light, the lily white, declare their Maker's praise. This is my Father's world. He shines in all that's fair. In the rustling grass I hear him pass. He speaks to me everywhere. This is my Father's world. Oh, let me ne'er forget that though the wrong seems oft so strong, God is the ruler yet. This is my Father's world. How could my heart be sad? The Lord is King, let the heavens ring. God reigns, let earth be glad.
Thank you, Shay. If you will read along with me in our bulletins. Love produces a flow of energy that I now feel. I love others more than ever, and I feel privileged to be here. Love flows from one person to another as we create an atmosphere of holiness, and so it is. And Kate will be giving us our spiritual energy treatment this morning with her beautiful bowls.
I think Steve's going to play the bowls today, right?
Okay. Can you just go over there where they are? Yeah, I'm afraid we're going to have to. What?
Is that a choo-choo train? Yeah, it's kind of like a train.
No, it's a washing machine.
Oh,
I don't know what it is. Do you want me to bring you a chair?
I'll figure some way. In there.
Okay. So we're just going to take some nice deep breaths in through the nose, out through the mouth. Kind of a continuation of the prayer that Susan did for us, the opening prayer. We're going to take some nice deep breaths in through the nose, out through the mouth, get ourselves quiet and centered. So as we center ourselves and we're going to send out all the words in our community first, and then out to those in our sphere of influence that need extra or just need love, period, and their hearts are open for it. So as we send out love and healing energy, those hearts who are ready to receive will actually have what they need in their lives right now. So we're just creating love in our hearts. Open your heart. You can even place your hand on your heart. It helps it to open. Still breathing, creating loving energy. And as you exhale, just send out that loving energy.
I don't know who that is. So Dave's for visitors, I guess. Sorry.
Thank you for creating Chi with me and sending out healing and loving energy to our community and to those in our lives.
And thank you for sharing those beautiful bowls with us. They're lovely. We have another visitor. I don't know her, Deborah Scullo. Anyway, welcome, Deborah. We're glad you're here with us. And with that, Steve's going to give us a spiritual reading. I'm sorry? I don't know whose it is.
Okay.
Good morning.
Good morning. Oh, I guess you need this. Sorry.
Perhaps.
Do you want me to put it on you?
No,
You're just going to hold it?
I don't know. I'll figure it out here. Thank you. Doing my thing. Anyway, as I entered the fellowship hall this morning, something felt different. It really kind of felt like there was something new here. And I looked around and most everything was about the same, but there was a different feeling here. And I think that it's kind of based on a transition. You know, I mean, there are some notable things. We've got Ron here for one thing. Bill's still absent, but I visited with him a couple of days ago, and he seems to have a great attitude. And so I think that, I left a book with him, and he actually couldn't read it, so he downloaded it on Audible. And it's called Survival. What's the subtitle to it, Kate? Anyway, yeah. It's like, boy, that was good. I got to fix this thing. Well, I know you don't. I just got to fix it for me. Yeah, it was called Deep Survival. And he seemed interested in it, so he went ahead and downloaded it. And I went home and also downloaded it. And I started listening to it. And it was just interesting, the difference between people that survive and people that don't. And the author goes through all of these stories, all the way from landing and taking off on aircraft carriers to hang gliding and stuff like that, and the people that survive and the reason that they do, and the people that don't and the reason that they do. And it's all pretty logical. And I think that something I sense here in fellowship is that we are survivors. Yeah. Yeah. And so I think, yeah, we have, and we're reaffirming it. And to me, that's great news. So what I'm going to read today is from The Power of Now, which I have never read this book. I read A New Earth by Eckhart Tolle. But I have a feeling it's probably it's the last segment of the last chapter. And it says, the power to choose. What about all those people who, it seems, actually want to suffer? I have a friend whose partner is physically abusive toward her, and her previous relationship was one of a similar kind. Why does she choose such men, and why is she refusing to get out of that situation now? Why do so many people actually choose pain? I know that the word choose is a favorite New Age term, but it isn't entirely accurate in this context. It is misleading to say that somebody chose a dysfunctional relationship or any other negative situation in his or her life. Choice implies consciousness, a high degree of consciousness. Without it, you have no choice. Choice begins the moment you disidentify from the mind and its conditioned patterns, the moment you become present. Until you reach that point, you are unconscious, spiritually speaking. This means that you are compelled to think, feel, and act in certain ways according to the conditioning of your mind. That is why Jesus said, "Forgive them, for they know not what they do." This is not related to intelligence in the conventional sense of the word. I have met many highly intelligent and educated people who were also completely unconscious, which is to say, completely identified with their mind. In fact, if mental development and increased knowledge are not counterbalanced by a corresponding growth in consciousness, the potential for unhappiness and disaster is very great. Your friend is stuck in a relationship with an abusive partner, and not for the first time. Why? No choice. The matter, conditioned as it is by the past, always seeks to recreate what it knows and what it's familiar with. Even if it is painful, at least it is familiar. The mind always adheres to the known. The unknown is dangerous because it has no control over it. That is why the mind dislikes and ignores the present moment. Present moment awareness creates a gap, not only in the stream of mind, but also in the past-future continuum. Nothing truly new and creative can come into this world except through that gap, that clear space of infinite possibility. So your friend, being identified with her mind, may recreate a pattern learned in the past in which intimacy and abuse are inseparably linked. Alternately, she may be acting out of a mind patterned in the early childhood according to which she is unworthy and deserves to be punished. It is possible, too, that she lives in a large part of her life through the pain body, which always seeks more pain on which to feed. Her partner has his own conscious patterns, which complement hers. Of course, her situation is self-created. But who or what is the self that is doing the creating? A mental, emotional pattern from the past, no more. Why make a self out of it? If you tell her that she has chosen her condition, pardon my fingers there, condition situation, you are reinforcing her state of mind identification. But is her mind pattern who she is? Is that herself? In her true identity derived from the past, is her true identity derived from the past? Show our friend how to be the observing presence behind her thoughts and her emotions. Tell her about the pain body and how to free herself from it. Teach her the art of inner body awareness. Demonstrate to her the meaning of presence. As soon as she is able to access the power of the now and thereby break through her conditioned past, she will have a choice. I'm going to skip a little. Oh, I'm not too far from the end, so bear with me. I know it gets a little longer than usual. Nobody chooses dysfunction, conflict, pain. Nobody chooses insanity. They happen because there is not enough presence in you to dissolve the past, not enough light to dispel the darkness. You are not fully here. You have not quite woken up yet. In the meantime, the conditioned mind is running your life. Similarly, if you are one of the many people who have an issue with their parents, if you still harbor resentment about something they did or did not do, then you still believe that they had a choice, that they could have acted differently. It always looks as if people had a choice, but that is an illusion. As long as your mind, with its conditioned patterns, runs your life, as long as you are your mind, what choice do you have? None. Not even, you are not even there. The mind-identified state is severely dysfunctional. It is a form of insanity. Almost everyone is suffering from the illness in varying degrees. The moment you realize this, there can be no more resentment. How can you resent someone's illness? The only appropriate response is compassion. So that means nobody is responsible for what they do? I don't like that idea. If you are run by your mind, although you have no choice, you still suffer the consequences of your unconsciousness, and you will create further suffering. You will bear the burden of fear, conflict, problems, and pain. The suffering thus created will eventually force you out of your unconscious state. What you say about choice also applies to forgiveness. I suppose you need to be fully conscious and surrender before you can forgive. Forgiveness is a term that has been in use for 2,000 years, but most people have a very limited view of what it means. You cannot truly forgive yourself or others as long as you derive your sense of self from the past. Only through accessing the power of the now, which is your own power, can there be true forgiveness. This renders the past powerless, and you realize deeply that nothing you ever did or that was ever done to you could touch even the slightest, could touch even in the slightest the radiant essence of who you are. The whole concept of forgiveness then becomes unnecessary. And how do I get to that point of realization? Well, when you surrender to what is, and so become fully present, the past ceases to have any power. You do not need it anymore. Presence is the key. Now is the key. How will I know that when I have surrendered? When you no longer need to ask the question. Yes, and it's jumped out at me, the correlation between this and the deep survival stories that I was listening, is that the people that didn't survive didn't realize that they were in danger, even though there were all kinds of signs blaring at them. You know, like in the case of the aircraft carrier, somebody saying, you know, abort, 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 and the person still crashed right into it. It's because they were not aware. They were they had not practiced for it. They had not experienced the now of it. And it was interesting. Yeah. Anyway, thank you very much.
The takeaway on that would be live in the moment.
You're welcome. It was fun.
Okay. Thank you, Steve, for those words of wisdom. Almost right out of Course in Miracles. Okay, and now we have a song, O Love Divine, number 171 in your brown book, by our lovely Shay Johnson.
O love divine, where'er I am, thou dost abide with me. Whatever path in life I take, I still remain in thee. For thou art here and everywhere, thou fillest every spot. O ever-present love divine, O love, thou movest not. O love divine, whate'er befall, if good or ill my lot, whatever I may bring to pass,
same unvarying throughout eternity. All steadfast, changeless, helpful, good, O love, art thou to me. Securely may I trust in thee, thou love divine, so sure, unmoved as the eternal hills, thou dost for aye endure. O love divine, I would be filled with substance like to thee, that thou and I forevermore may interwoven be.
Thank you, Shay. I had trouble following it, but your voice is beautiful in the ups and downs in it. That's why I don't sing and she does. Okay, we have our wonderful Susan Barnes from Belize, Central America, who is going to talk to us. And I don't have it on here, so I can't remember exactly what it was, but she always gives us words of wisdom. So please listen and appreciate what she brings to us.
Good morning, Jerry and everyone. Actually, Kalia was on, but her computer was giving her trouble, so she had sent me a little note. And I have low bandwidth also, so it's been, I hope that I can manage this whole talk. Anyway, what I would like to do is I want to go back in time, hundreds of thousands of years ago, like, 250,000 years ago. And at that time, although we're not taught this in school, there came to Earth the beings that were called the Anunnaki, which means those who came from heaven. Now, these beings lived for thousands of years. Now, the last one of importance, at least as far as this story is concerned, was called Thoth. And it is said that he left for us information that was encoded on a block of emerald, therefore the emerald tablets. Now, the earliest known versions of this text appear in an Arabic treatise somewhere written between the 6th and 10th centuries, before they were translated into Latin in the Middle Ages. So this talk is about the god, because they thought he was a god, Thoth, who taught humanity everything. And this is how Thoth and the Egyptian mystery schools shaped all of Western civilization. So I first would like to give you, this was by Sir Isaac Newton. He translated it into English. And there are 13, and notice the number 13. Numbers are very important in a lot of reasons. The first one, 'tis true without lying, certain and most true. 2, that which is below is like that which is above, and that which is above is like that which is below, to do the miracles of, catch the number, one only thing. 3, and as all things have been and arose from one, by the meditation of one, so all things have their birth from this one thing by adaptation. 4, the sun is its father and the moon its mother. 5, the wind has carried it in its belly. The earth is its nurse. 6, the father of all perfection in the whole world is here, now. 7, its force or power is entire if it be converted into the earth. 8, separate the earth from the fire the subtle from the gross, sweetly with great industry. 9. It ascends from the earth to the heavens, and again it descends to the earth and receives the force of things superior and inferior. 10. By this means you shall have the glory of the whole world, and therefore all obscurity shall fly from you. 11. Its force is above all force, for it vanquishes every subtle thing and penetrates every solid thing. 12. And so was the world created. 13. From this are and do come admirable adaptations, whereof the means or the process is here in this. And so these are the translations as Isaac Newton did this back in 1680. So anyway, to get to the whole thing, deep under the sands of Upper Egypt, there's an ancient temple that was known by the Greeks as Hermopolis, or known as the city of Hermes. And the temple has a unique purpose among all the temples of the ancient world. This was not built for public worship or anything like that, ceremonies. In fact, the public wasn't even allowed into it because it was, well, in order to enter it, you had to undergo an extensive selection process, which included passing certain tests and demonstrating one's willingness to let go of everything that one might think is true about reality. I noticed Steve, when he was reading, was talking about the illusion, and that's very much a part of this. So these places were often referred to as the mystery schools by the ancient Egyptians, and they served as the center of humanity's greatest explorations. And the mind is the greatest exploration. Though they were not just places for religious activity, they were essentially a laboratory for the study of consciousness. I find Steve's text very interesting, and were staffed by some of the most intelligent people of their time who were trained to understand the hidden laws of the universe, the hidden laws of the soul, and the relationship to each other. They were guided by Thoth, the last of the Anunnaki rulers, who was known also as the Egyptian god of wisdom, of writing, mathematics, and magic. So the modern schools provided the foundation for our modern esoteric traditions. This included the Kabbalah, Hermeticism, and, believe it or not, Freemasonry. Thoth was also known to the Greeks as Hermes Trismegistus, or the thrice greatest. So what did these initiates who were able to get in learn at the mystery schools? And why is the knowledge gained at these temples of such importance in today's age of information overload, institutional decay, and the search for true knowledge? The information contained within this talk is not based on mythological accounts, although a lot of people would like to say that, but rather based on the history of the oldest university, the mystery schools, in human history, along with the core principles that remains relevant today, that the laws governing the planets above are the same as the laws of the soul within. So Albert Einstein, one of the most celebrated geniuses of our modern age, said something that should have ended every argument about manifestation. Imagination is more important than knowledge. Knowledge is limited. Imagination encircles the world. So why would the greatest scientific mind in history say that? Because Einstein understood something that most people still don't. Reality is not what you think it is. Here is what Einstein discovered, what quantum physics has confirmed repeatedly ever since. The observer affects the observed. Einstein also said something else that shattered the scientific worldview. The distinction between past, present, and future is only a stubbornly persistent illusion. Time, the thing we build our entire lives around, is not what it really seems. Past, present, and future exist simultaneously. Depends on which frequency we tune into. So that means that the future, well, what is it that you want to manifest? It already exists right now, right here, in a dimension your five senses can't perceive, but your imagination can. So here's where it gets a little interesting. 5,000 years before Einstein, the Hermetic Masters taught the exact same thing. The first Hermetic principle states, the all, the one, is mind. The universe is mental. Reality is mental first. The physical is second. Consciousness is not a byproduct of matter. Matter, yourself, your body, is a byproduct of consciousness. The ancient Egyptians encoded this into their temples, their texts, their entire civilization. They knew that what Einstein would later prove, imagination is not fantasy, it's the blueprint of reality. And this is why knowledge alone will never change your life. You can read every book, you can attend every seminar, you can memorize every principle, but if your imagination is still tuned to lack, to fear, to limitation, that and that alone is what you will create. Knowledge is limited. Imagination encircles the world. Your imagination is the creative faculty, the reality generator. What you imagine, get this, with feeling, with emotion, becomes instruction for the universe, becomes the blueprint. The Hermetic Masters didn't have particle accelerators or quantum computers, but they understood consciousness better than most modern scientists. They taught that your mind is not inside the universe. The universe is inside your mind. They taught that time is a construct and that the awakened human can access any point in it. Why do you think we have such psychics? Why? How can they tune into it? So that we can access any point in it through imagination. They taught that what you assume to be true becomes true, because assumption is the language reality speaks. Einstein proved them right. Quantum physics proves them right every day. The only question is, will you use it? For the Orthodox theologian, at this point in history, and most importantly, are those who expect everyone to obey God, or in the past, the gods, have faith in distant and a judgmental God, and accept those limitations of humanity. Mystery school initiates began with a much broader theme, something that most of their contemporaries would have tried their best to avoid. And that is a very frightening and beautiful idea that everything that we see in the world is governed by the laws that are hidden from us. However, these hidden laws are accessible through our own intelligence, our own imagination, and can be understood by our human soul. We would love to believe that the world is a creation that's been done perfectly and that it's governed by a benevolent God. We want to believe that suffering is simply a test or a punishment, and that we have a path or a person to salvation that exists outside of us. We all need to feel secure in our lives. We need to feel certainty. We need to have clearly defined rules for living. We need our spirituality to be so simple that we can manage it with a ritual. And all the educated minds of the world at that time in the past believed in the separation between their gods and us as humans, and that these gods were ruling over humanity from above. So thus, the first statement made in the theology of the mystery schools is that the creator of the material world has given us a blueprint, and that we can read this blueprint. This philosophy may feel very disorienting. However, it is important to realize that the mystery school initiates were not attempting to give humanity a reason to feel hopeless, but rather to tell the truth. They were not saying that life does not have meaning, but they were saying that we do not find meaning by pretending that the suffering and cruelty of this physical manifested world is part of a perfectly divinely ordained plan. That we can't comprehend. The literal interpretations of myth, religious authority, and our own self-recrimination that most of us continue to understand are nothing more than illusions. The universe is not going to shape itself to fit our need for orthodox theology. The material world is a manifestation of the divine. True laws are hidden from us, and the only way to attain salvation is to awaken from the illusion created by our superficial view of reality. The initiates of the mystery schools taught that life was a subjective experience. We experience life in a never-ending state of being. We exist in an infinite expanding sphere of spirituality, and our minds continue to view life as being confined to an unchanging and external environment. This limitation creates suffering and ignorance. The initiation into the mystery schools was not an invention of the concept of inner divinity, but a choice by the initiates to recognize that there indeed exists a divine spark within each one of us, within every man, and therefore to deal with it accordingly. So there were these concepts are a diagnosis of the state of human ignorance and a route out that the keeper of all knowledge, Thoth, the Egyptian god of writing and wisdom. Historically, it was believed that the gods were completely separate from humanity. However, Thoth provided tools to remedy that separation. Initiates believe that the human soul must also be pure and is made of light. Understanding. We are not miserable sinners awaiting external salvation. We are all pieces of the divine light who just happen to have forgotten where we came from. The second concept is the weighing of the heart. Some of you have seen this when you have the scales and there's the feather, and then there's the heart. And your heart should be lighter than a feather. So upon examining the cruelty and imperfection of this material world, the initiates understood the true nature. They believed that the foundation of their Egyptian initiation was centered around Ma'at, which represented truth, justice, and cosmic order. Therefore, in order to receive the most profound esoteric teachings, each initiate was required to demonstrate that their heart was lighter than a feather. The initiates taught that this purifying process was a prerequisite for aligning one's soul with the divine order of the universe. And we should not be worshiping the creator of this flawed material world without question asked, but instead we should worship the hidden transcendent cosmic laws of Ma'at that exist outside of our perception of the material world. The third concept, which is one of the most important, is as above, so below. This teaching is the foundation of the philosophy of the Western esoteric schools. Rather than teaching salvation through blind faith or external rituals performed by an organized religion, the mystery schools taught that through understanding that there are the same laws governing the human soul that governs the heavens. Through knowing the self, we can know the cosmos. Think about it. An atom in each one of our cells that compromise our wholeness. We have the solar system, but the universe, the galaxies, all the so below is the foundation upon which all of the Western esoteric teachings is based. Since the divine spark is within, our salvation cannot come from an external source, which so many people say, oh, you're going to be saved by Jesus, Yeshua. No. Look within. The master initiate is never separate from God. You, each one of you, you're never separate from the light that created you. The master initiate becomes freed by awakening to their own essence. They're becoming conscious of this divine spark, this light that is present within themselves. Okay. So the tablet is the set of instructions for a powerful alchemical process, which is why Isaac Newton, who was an alchemist, translated it. So I want to go a little bit deeper into the different steps. Separate from line 8, separate the earth from the fire, the subtle from the gross, sweetly with great industry. This is the very essence of inner alchemy. The earth represents our dense, gross, unconscious nature, which includes such things as fear, trauma, conditioned patterns. The fire represents our spirit, our pure divinity, meaning that we must be able to separate the two by becoming aware of our unconscious patterns without identifying with them through the process of great industry, which is nothing more than watching yourself very carefully and being patient and observant. It ascends from the earth to the heaven, and again it descends to the earth and receives the force of things superior and inferior. This is from line 9. This is the illustration of the circulatory pattern of consciousness, ascending to a higher state and then bringing down that higher state into our current experience. This results in our ability to view our experience in a different light. By integrating the spirit, the superior, and the material, the inferior sides of ourself. By this means, we'll have the glory of the whole world, and thereby all obscurity shall fly from us. This is line 10. The outcome of this inner process is enlightenment. Therefore, the glory of the world is not having material wealth, but it means instead being filled with the radiant energy of consciousness, which is able to see itself within everything and everyone. When we realize that our nature is one with the nature of everything in the universe, we will eliminate any sense of separation, that's the obscurity, and we will have no more fear or doubt. So the great work of the alchemists is as relevant today as it was 1,000 years ago. And there are 3 ways to begin applying the wisdom of the Emerald Tablet to our own lives. The macrocosm meditation. So find a peaceful moment and then meditate on the phrase, as above, so below. Now, observe your hands. All the particles contained within these hands were formed in the core of a dying star billions of years ago. The electrical signals traveling throughout our nervous system are produced by the same forces that create lightning. The regular beating of our hearts mirrors the rhythm of the movement of the celestial bodies. Take time to feel this and understand that we are not an individual separated from others, but we are individual universes. So the practice of separation, that's subtle from the gross, throughout the day, we'll make an effort to become aware of our own inner state without forming judgments about so it's the judgment about what we observe. When we find ourselves feeling a strong emotion, such as anger or fear, instead of letting it consume us, simply observe it. For example, we might say to ourselves, I feel angry. By making this simple observation, we create a separation between our awareness, the subtle, and the emotion, the gross. This begins the process of separating the building blocks of the universe, which are composed of fire, which is our energy, and earth, which is the matter. The third thing that we can do is the circulation of consciousness. So at the end of each day, we set aside a few moments to meditate and reflect on a particular challenge that we faced all that day. Now we'll visualize ourselves looking down on the situation from above, as though we were rising into the sky to see the bigger picture, the ascending. What new information or insight did we discover from this new perspective, the higher perspective? What advice could we give to ourselves once we have this insight? We will bring it back down into our body to descend back to the earth. How does this new perspective change the way we feel about our challenge? This way of being is an integration of our spiritual wisdom into our daily life. The Emerald Tablet's final line is a powerful reminder. That which I have said of the operation of the sun is accomplished and ended. The operation of the sun is the great work, the creation of the golden solar consciousness. The knowledge contained within this text has been revealed to us through Hermes, through Thoth. The Emerald Tablet teaches us that we, as human beings, possess within us the tools and the potential to create our own reality. Through understanding the relationship between the inner, the spiritual, and the outer, the physical worlds, and disconnecting our pure awareness from our past conditions and balancing our consciousness between the spiritual and physical, we're able to accomplish the ultimate objective of the alchemist. That's not to transform lead into gold, but to achieve for ourselves the same glorious state of being, a shining star that we will ultimately attain as part of our evolution. Namaste.
Susan, wonderful words of wisdom. And it's always nice to hear more about the Anunnaki. I know so very little about them, so it's always interesting what you share. Does anybody else have anything they'd like to share with Susan? Nope? Okay, in that case, we will carry on. Thank you very much, Susan. We appreciate your knowledge on this. And we have a song in the book 81, Prayer for Protection.
The light of God surrounds me. The love of God enfolds me. The power of God protects me. The presence of God watches over me. Wherever I am, God is. The light of God surrounds you. The love of God enfolds you. The power of God protects you. The presence of God watches over you. Wherever you are, God is. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is.
I love that song. Thank you very much, Shay. That's a
And
beautiful song.
thank you for choosing that. So appropriate for my talk. It's like
Yes.
you were reading my mind. Oh, but there is only one mind.
Oh, very true. Okay. On one of the benches, somewhere back there. If you will take your offering in your hands and place it over your heart and repeat with me. Divine love flowing through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive, unlimited. I am prosperous. And we have no children. We've had no children all summer because they've been traveling about with their parents. But Rhonda promises me when school starts back up, they will start back up. So hopefully we will have children. Yes, definitely. And since our lovely Bill Clark is still in the rehab, he will be coming home on Friday, so keep him in your prayers. He is doing extremely well considering what he went through, and we are very lucky, and he is very lucky to have survived this horrific little accident that he had. And keep him in your prayers for continuing healing. So in the words of Bill Clark and this wonderful little book, the Daily Book of Positive Quotations, I would like to talk to you about, which one was it? Human imagination. Nature uses human imagination to lift her work of creation to even higher levels. We live in a marvelous world made even more marvelous by the creations of human imagination. A beautiful landscape is enhanced and preserved in a painting. Even when we are far from it, the beauty of that landscape and that particular moment in time that it was captured by the artist can be recalled simply by looking at the painting. And the takeaway is, I enjoy both the natural world and the creations of human imagination that reflect it. So it is. And if you will all join me up here, we will sing our way out of here. Ron, you have to come this way. We're not going back there. We have to come up here. Oh, well, if you don't want to, I guess you can back up. Okay. All right. 1, 2, 3. God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home. Weave us together, weave us together in unity and love. Weave us together, weave us together in unity, and yes, there is peace on earth, and yes, it begins with me. Yes, there is peace on earth, a peace that was meant to be. With God as our Father, family all are we. So let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Yes, peace begins with me. Yes, this is the moment now. With every breath I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Yes, there is peace on earth, and yes, it begins with me. And may the light of God surround you and keep you safe all this week. And we'll see you next week. Amen.
Thanks for persisting. Wish you had like an instant cough drop.
Yeah. Well, it never fails because I get this phlegm caught in my throat.
Yeah.
And when I start singing, it wants to
Yeah, it was.
move around.